made a sign for others to come out of where they had been hiding. Suho tried hard to get up, but he could tell that his senses were getting worse and that he was getting weaker. So Young yelled that he had been hungry for 2 days while she used her skills to kill the orcs who were coming toward them. She then fell to the ground. Suho grabbed a weapon and used it to kill 2 orcs. He tried to kill another orc to level up, but the warchief attacked him again. As he fell, he hit another orc with his weapon, killing it and giving him a level. The warchief came up to Su Young, who was already hurt, and got ready to attack. In the Suho clan house, Granny was sending information to Suho. Suho used his beast transformation skill, and Granny was shocked to see Suho floating and shining. As Su Young fought the warchief, Suho started to change. She got hit, and she fell down. Suho charged at a warchief in his werewolf form and kept hitting it over and over until he finally killed it with a bite to the neck. So Young was scared because she thought Suho had gone crazy. But when Suho barked back, she realized he had turned into a dog and not a wolf. From the outside, the news said that Suho and Su Young had not been seen for 3 days. The director told them that they were in a level 5 dungeon called our castle, where it was suggested that they bring 30 people with a B rank or higher. Su went back to human form and found that what had happened wasn't a change but a fusion. He asked Su Young to eat with him, but she told him it didn't matter because this place would be their grave. She said that even though the warchief was dead, the door wasn't opening, which meant there were stronger monsters inside. Suho asked what kind of monster made her lose hope. He thought back to 3 years ago when a 20-person combat team and 10 A-ranked mercenaries raided a level 5 dungeon. Su Young's ankles were being teased from behind by Kim Miso while a man asked her if they were okay. As they fought, the man used his skills to save Su Young. Kim and Miso told them to run away, and as Su Young ran with them, she suddenly felt like someone was after them. His arm was cut off and his sword fell next to her. Everyone was shocked when they saw the boss leave, and Su Young started to cry when Suho listened to her story. Many people outside the gate thought Suho and Su Young had died. A lot of higher anchors are getting together to make plans for getting even. Akita Hiro was looking at them and thinking that what they were doing was dumb. After they finished eating, Suho asked her in the cave if she was the one who killed the Orc Lord. As she said she wasn't, but then she passed out and woke up in the hospital. Miso took her to the Hun sword, which was able to kill 5 orc warchiefs at once, and Suho asked where the Orc Lord was. She thought it was in a castle, so I told her they found the Orc Castle. Suho and Su Young saw the castle gate open and ran towards it. The orcs shot arrows, but Su Young blocked them with her shield, and the group was able to get through the gate before it shut. Once they were inside, Su Young shot the orcs that were in their way and led the way to one of the spires. The orcs jumped at them, and one of them hit her and knocked her down. She told Suho, though, to keep going and not worry about her. As she fell off the edge, Su Young got ready to fight the orcs who were coming. The orc leader suddenly stood up when he sensed something was wrong, but Suho was already there, biting and attacking its neck. The orc leader fell and got stuck on one of the spires. When the spire fell, it crushed the orcs below it. So Young used her powers to bring down another spire. As she fell, she thought she was going to die, but Suho caught her quickly and brought her down safely. She couldn't believe how fast Suho had killed the orc leader. Suho told her to look for the door. As the clock started to count down, the dungeon started to fall apart. Su Young figured out where the door was and led Suho there. The door would open in 10 minutes, and the orcs were still coming after them. Then Suho smelled something and found a cage with wolves in it. Using his ability to get animals to obey him, he told the pack to follow him and made a plan for how they could all get out of the dungeon. As the orcs got closer, Suho was told by the fairy that there was another way out of the area. They did find it, and they were able to get out of the castle. With only 23 seconds left before the building fell, they could see the door. One of the orcs suddenly threw a spear at Su Young, hitting her in the back and making her fall. Suho ran back immediately and killed the orc. There were only 8 seconds left. Outside, people were already crying, so Suho picked up Su Young and told her to hang on. He ran as fast as he could to get to the exit gate. The world inside was destroyed just as the gate closed. As the last number was counted down, those outside gave up all hope. People were surprised, though, when a pack of wolves came out of the portal, followed by Suho and Su Young falling to the ground. People rushed to help them. People quickly heard that the 2 people who had been stuck in the level 5 dungeon for 4 days and 11 hours had made it out alive. Kim Miso was told what happened in a meeting, and the news about Park Suho has spread because of what happened. Scouts from different countries came to the country, and they were trying to figure out how to keep Suho safe. The doctor said that Suho will not leave Korea as long as his family is there. He values spending time with his family. He said that Suho should be given a place where he and his family can live without being attacked. The director gave his okay. Kim Miso suggested the abandoned building in Mangu. He thought it would be the best place for the Suho Guild to call home, so he kept Soo Young there to keep an eye on Suho. The SCFC Arena Akatita hero was then introduced as a black flame spread across his sword. He ran up to the stage as people cheered. Michael Zorbaz is the human weapon with a rank of S for the challenger. Zorbaz walked onto the stage and attacked right away with a punch that destroyed the area, but the hero was able to avoid it. Zorbaz then attacked again with a Mana Gatling shot, but the hero was able to avoid it. Hero then attacks back, putting Zorbaz on the defensive. Zorbaz pulls out his own sword and swings it at Hero, but Hero easily avoids his attacks. Hero tried to hurt Zorbaz more than once, but Zorbaz didn't notice. Zorbaz then caught the hero with his chains and tied him up. Zorbaz tried to attack, but Hero told him that he was already dead. Zorbaz falls down all of a sudden and blood pours everywhere. Even though the medics were there, Zorbaz could not be saved. The woman let Hero into his office, and he told her that he killed Zorbaz because he thought he would be one of the 7 bad guys in the future. She then told him that the person who got stuck in a level 5 dungeon had managed to get out, and that he might be the second coming of Suho in Korea. Even the Defense Department is looking at him. Hero was interested and asked, "Who's there?" She said it was Park Suho, but she doesn't remember him. She then told him that he was a druid and that he had come from a 4th planet. Hero didn't think it would happen. He was in his 25th regression and had been reliving the same 500-year-old events. So, he remembers all the Awakeners who will become famous in the future and a general plan of the most important things that will happen, but Park Suho is not on that list. He doesn't believe that Suho came back from a 4th planet. He says that Suho's actions might change history a little, like if one of the 7 villains who will show their evil in 10 years suddenly died and Akiko, who was supposed to die 2 years ago, was still safe and alive. But the big things that happen, like when a level 7 dungeon opened or when the planet was linked to the 4th planet, haven't changed, and that will be in 5 years. There won't be a new planet in front of them. Akiko asked Hero to bring Suho to them, but Hero told her to wait. He knows that the end of the world is coming soon and that monsters are taking over cities where survivors have been hiding. Heroes among the evacuees saw Japan as their last chance to stay alive, so one hero chose to build his base there, even though he was called a traitor. He thinks that if the dungeons are locked down and talented people are brought to Japan, it will become the best place for survivors. When the Korean survivors get to Japan, Suho will be waiting for them. He hopes that the Korean survivors will see him as a hero instead of a traitor. Hero laughed at the idea. Hero thinks Suho's actions are just for show and says they can bring him over when the end of the world comes. Kim Miso goes to see Soo Young in the hospital and asks about a rumored man who visits her every night, thinking it might be Sudo. So Young avoids the question and asks about the food. At the CIA's main office, a man is shocked to hear that a hero killed Zorbaz, and his assistant thinks that Hero was an SS officer. They are also watching Suho and have noticed that he often goes to the same place and seems to be talking to pigeons. The person in charge of the CIA tells his assistant to bring Suho to their site no matter what. The assistant tells him that agents have been sent to Korea, but they can't get there because the airways are unstable. People on the plane sue young wyvern flying close by, which makes the agents wonder if a wyvern dungeon has broken open. When they land, they plan to call HQ, but an adult wyvern suddenly breathes fire, which causes the plane to crash. A group of wyverns got out of the dungeon during a dungeon break 2 days before Suho and his group got to their new headquarters. Soo-young tells Kim Miso that there is a ghost in the house, which worries her. Kim Miso tells Suho that they will fix up the house, but Soo thinks it's fine and wants to move in right away. Soo-young asks him if he's crazy, but Kim Miso steps in and talks about setting up boundaries for territory. Kim Miso tells Suho that he can choose how much land he will take care of. When Kim Miso asks Suho what he's doing, he calls on his spirits. Soo-young tells her that he is putting up boundaries for their territory by making the tree spirits grow trees that make a wall around their land. Suho says that, with the house in the middle, it has a radius of 1 kilometer, which amazes everyone. Kim Miso says that everything in the territory will belong to the Suho Guild. Suho asks why they are being so nice when he only needs to stay in the country for a few months. Kim says that the Bureau treats Suho like family, but she is wrong. Suho is happy. Tim Miso gives him a contract to sign, but Soo Young tells him to read it carefully before signing it before Kim Miso pulls her away. Kim Miso leaves, and while she is in the car, the driver asks her if the Suho clan can take care of such a large area. Miso says that if they can't, the Bureau can use that as an excuse to send in their own people. She tells people to make a list of attacking units over a certain level and get them ready. In the next scene, pirates who want help attack a cargo ship. As the pirates get on board, their ship is suddenly thrown into the air and many tentacles wrap around it, causing it to sink. One of the crew members sees a monster that looks like a shark eating him, and other monsters can be seen all around the sea. When the rescue team gets there, they can't find any sign of the ship and the tentacles start to attack them. At the same time, Suho was giving his wolves names. He realized that if they had more dimension energy than he did, he might go crazy during the fusion. So Young came, and Suho asked her to go for a walk with him. He changed and offered to take her somewhere. Reporters were outside waiting for news about the Suho clan. When Junho walked by, Deong-su noticed that his channel was getting donations from different countries and wondered if he should tell Suho. The two of them saw Suho and Soo Young and challenged them to a race. But Soo Young suddenly sensed a dimensional crack within a 200-meter radius. Soo Young remembered that the last time she talked to Suho, he asked her what kind of planet he went to. Soo Young was shocked to hear that it was an animal kingdom full of dangerous creatures with dimensional energy levels above 700. On the planet, fights for territory and survival never stopped until someone died. And to be in charge of a group, you had to be at least your rank. Even after Suho became king, he had to deal with problems for a long time. Soo Young realized that if a bridge portal connected the planet and let people travel freely in both directions, it would turn into a war zone as they fought against hostile beings from another world with S-rank dimensional energy. She didn't understand why. Even though Suho was the king of the planet, he couldn't control the animals there. Suho told him that he was not the same person he used to be and that the animals might kill him if they saw how weak he had become. Soo Young told Suho to run as far away from the city center as possible to the northeastern field. As the space started to change, Dong-su and Junho went after them. Kim Miso was contacted by Soo Young, who told her that the portal was about to open. A brigade of artillery was quickly put together near where Suho was, but Suho quickly realized that it wasn't the planet he had been on before. Instead, it was just a normal portal door. Soo Young asked Suho how he could be sure without any tools. Suho said he knew because it felt different than the portal he had been through before. Soo Young remembered that the dimensional energy of the teleportation portal Suho used was higher than that of a portal bridge. As the Awakeners Bureau arrived, reporters saw a sign of a dimensional crack. The detection team went to Suho's group and started setting up measuring devices. Kim Miso and Soo Young were glad to find out it was a level 4 dungeon. Soo Young told Miso that Suho was going to check it out. Miso told the director what had happened, and the director was upset about how much money had already been spent. Miso suggested sending a member of the detection team with video memory along with them to find out if the dungeon is where Suho is from. Director thinks that if a dungeon portal shows up near someone who just came back from the dungeon, that person is a dungeon returner. Miso says that the fact that Suho is different is valuable in and of itself. The team that found the dungeon found out that it would fall apart in 50 days, so Soo Young told Miso to call back the military unit. Suho was interested in the measuring tool but found out it was expensive. However, the Bureau offered to give it to them as a gift if they would let them use it for free. Suho asked why they were giving him such valuable things, and he was told that the Korean Bureau would never treat him unfairly, even though he wasn't a returnee from another planet. The Bureau told Suho that they know many countries are reaching out to him and that he is part of their family. The man said he was a national treasure, but Suho said he hadn't heard from any other countries. Dinks came up to Suho and told him that there was a lot of competition for him overseas and that people were sending him messages since they couldn't talk to him directly. Suho asked how much they were offering, and Dong-su said it was more than 5 billion won. Suho warned them not to be slaves to money, and that talking to someone is more important than money, but Dong-su didn't listen and said he would at least show Suho that Suho's group was about to go through the portal when an agent told them to wait for the combat team. Suho said that only 2 people could go with them, so the agent left. The agent was worried about how small their group was, but Soo-young told him to keep track of everything and that Gu had joined them. When Suho went through the portal, he felt like he had been there before. Soo-young stopped them and told them that there were 3 monsters coming. Group got ready for battle, and Junho stepped forward, which scared the agent, as Junho walked by. Suho put him to sleep and told Junho to wake him up and give him a drug to calm him down. Soo-young told the agent that Junho has a disease that makes him go crazy whenever he uses a sword. As the lizardmen came out, Suho told everyone to stand back. They were ready, Suho attacked, and the agent started recording. He quickly slashed 2 of the lizardmen and stabbed the 3rd one, leaving the agent and all of Suho in his wake. Suho gave Junho the job of collecting the loot from the dead people and telling them that he would be sending them more enemies to fight. He told Junho to go back and bring more photos of enemies for them to fight. The agent was worried that hundreds of enemies could be coming. Junho lost control and ran toward the enemies, throwing his knife to kill one and finishing off the second. A sneaky lizard came up behind Junho, but he didn't notice it, so he shot it with his crossbow. Junho landed the final blow, and Dong-soo cheered as he reached level 9. At the same time, a group of reporters stopped Kim Mi-so from entering Suho territory and asked her to confirm if the portal was level 4. Mi-so didn't answer, but the reporter guessed rightly that it was, and let her go. The reporters thought it was a waste of time, and Suho, who had just come back from a level 4 dungeon, told their team to pack up. The driver asked Mi-so if she could tell him something that was secret. Mi-so said that Suho was more important than the higher-ups playing with money, and that if word got out that Suho was a dungeon returner, no country would ever want to talk to him again. A combat team was about to go through the portal, but Kim Mi-so told the captain to tell them to wait. They couldn't go through until Suho agreed to help them. The doctor was surprised to hear that Suho had come back from a level 4 dungeon. But when he thought about Suho's story, he remembered that his site was mentioned, and he knew that there shouldn't be any in a level 4 dungeon. He thought that the planet had fallen apart and become a prison. At the same time, Suho easily killed several lizards and told them to look for treasure as they walked. They saw a shiny rock and Suho thought it looked familiar. Then Dong-suo and Junho saw that the stone had Korean writing on it. Suho went into a cave while they looked at the writing. Inside, they found that the cave was full of Korean writing, which shocked everyone. They read letters that talked about wanting to meet someone, and the agent thought the writer was immature and full of lust. They also saw writings about how much the writer missed his parents and brother Junho. Then Junho found a note that said, "Park Suho was here." Soo-young asked if this was Sohoo's origin. Du looked at his drawings and thought of his rival, Sohoo. He read a note that said it had been 30 years since the Gorilla Jackie started a rebellion and that the two would soon fight a final battle in which one of them would die. Dong-soo found a lot of broken knives that were about as good as artifacts. Du-hoo ran outside and surprised Dings, who blamed Minzu for making him angry with his jokes. Suho climbed a mountain and was surprised by how the landscape had changed.